Okay, now if I'm completely honest with you, my customer service absolutely sucks. Yeah. Now let me be frank about what I mean here. So if your customer service sucks, then yeah, you're gonna need to make a change pretty quickly. And trust me, I have been there myself. I have been both the recipient and the giver of some pretty shitty customer service in my time. But now, I would say that my customer service sucks, as in SUCS. Now, I came across this concept in a book by MJ DeMarco called The Millionaire Fastlane, and I think it's worthwhile you getting a copy because in this book, MJ described sucks as a superior and unexpected customer service. So what does that mean in reality? Well, if you think about going shopping at, say, John Lewis or M&S, and if you've ever had a problem, they absolutely will sort that out for you. So if you can think of anywhere where the customer service is next level, that's how I would describe it. You have absolute trust that they will fix it for you. And it's understanding what your customer wants and expects and then completely blowing their mind with next level customer service. Now, as an example of shitty customer service, like calling your bank or your phone company, you have to press like 300 different buttons to get through on the menu to God only knows where, and they can't help you. Imagine instead if you called and within 3 seconds, that phone call was answered by an actual person.
I'm not sorry I placed you on hold for 5 minutes. I was hoping you'd hang up.
Sure, maybe they've got to put you through to somebody else that could help, but wouldn't you feel just so more confident of their service? Wouldn't that really work better for you? I mean, I thought so too, and that's why I decided that outsourcing my phone answering, for example, ensures that someone is always available to answer, even when we're super busy. And the benefit is they can still forward the calls to me, book an appointment in my diary, leave me a message to call them back, email me, whatever it is, they can do it while I'm busy. But the problem we had is that when we were really busy, we used to miss loads of phone calls. Now, if you've ever phoned a company and they don't answer, trust me, you are gonna wanna look elsewhere straight away. I know I feel that way now, that if I call someone and they don't answer, I pretty much look elsewhere. And this is an example of how our customer service sucks, SUCS. And the reason we've implemented these things was purely down to feedback. You see, as I said, I've been the recipient and the giver of some pretty shitty feedback, and I decided it had to change. And this is what's led me to today's topic of feedback, which is really driven by customer service. So to me, at least, they're almost one and the same in that the feedback tells me how to improve the customer service, and my customer service is the result of that feedback. So it's a constant circle. Now in business, understanding your customers' true feelings, that can be really, really challenging, but it's absolutely crucial that you do. So how do you get the feedback and why is it so valuable? Essentially, customer reviews are what drive the innovation in your business. So let's imagine, for example, in a scenario that you're building something that is going to take years and years to finish. And when it's done, this is going to be your absolute masterpiece. You're thinking skyscrapers, right? You don't want to get all the way to the top, to the finish line to find out what you really needed to do was build a bungalow, or you needed to move the skyscraper down the street. And so instead, what you do is you get constant feedback along the way. You're going to be asking your customer, what about this? How about that? Would that work better? How about this, and this? Or you get your customer to suggest what they think would be right. Well, your business, it might as well be that skyscraper, and it's going to take years to build. And as you're building it, it's the feedback that you're going to get from your customers that is going to shape that final product. So ask for it early on, not at the end. So by identifying what's working, what isn't, you can then innovate and you can improve every single aspect of your product or service until your customer service goes from sucks to sucks. But if you don't ask what your customers really want, then ultimately I think you're going to go bust. No two ways about it. Think like Blockbuster, where are they? I think we understand, right, that it's a constant stream of feedback. It acts as like a real-time roadmap for your business and ultimately the evolution of your business, and it will shape the service and experience your customers have. Now, on a side note, at linemark.com, we recently started our ISO 9001. Now, there was a clause in there, I think 9.1.1. We had to provide, demonstrate how we monitored results. And to do this, we got feedback from our customers on either Trustpilot or Google or FIFA, whatever you're using. That helped us meet the standard. Now, I also think that getting feedback when it's positive is a huge morale boost for the guys But you know what, getting bad feedback is equally as important. The thing is just to make sure that you respond to it, as your customers will always need to feel that they're being heard. Now, if they know that you're listening, they're more likely to return and promote your brand. You don't have to make every change your customer suggests, but you absolutely do have to listen to them at the very least. That is absolutely your duty of care. So what can you do with the feedback in a practical sort of term? Because really, that's what we want to know. When you get into feedback, how are you going to implement it? Now, personally, I'd consider how the feedback would benefit the majority of my customers, not just the one that's giving it to me. Now, if it makes sense for me to implement a change for all of them, I will. If not, then I won't. For example, getting the feedback that we were really hard to get hold of made me think of how we could improve that part of our customer experience very quickly. That's something that I couldn't stand, and I absolutely had to fix it. And so that led us getting a phone answering company who then we divert the calls to. They then send the call directly to the right person within our team, whether it's sales, whether it's admin, whether it's me. But they also take messages, create appointments if we're really busy. They can book things and answer some questions. Now, although it costs us a lot of money to run, probably $400 or $500 a month, our customers are guaranteed to get an answer within 3 seconds when they phone us Monday to Friday, 8 till 6. And this is a result of feedback. And it has massively upped our customer service game. How are you going to get the feedback? Well, the obvious answer is you're going to ask for it. But of course, how you ask for it, and I mean, you should pick up the phone, is probably the best way. So you could go straight in asking for a Google review or a Trustpilot or FIFA, whatever it is you're using. You could go and do that, but I would encourage you not to. Instead, and on that note, before we jump into it, I personally prefer Google reviews over Trustpilot, but Trustpilot do make it easier because you don't have to sign in. But Google shows up where your brand shows up, where people are shopping on Google. So back to the important thing. The one important thing I always do when I'm asking for feedback is I phone my customers first before I ask them to leave any feedback on any form of social platform. Now, the reason I do this is because I want to understand their experience and ask a few more in-depth questions and really get the feedback that will actually help shape my business for the future. Don't get me wrong, getting 5-star reviews is nice, but whenever you ask for feedback through like Trustpilot or Google, typically people just give you a generalized star rating and say, great, thanks for your help, really appreciate it, we'll use you guys in the future. But that doesn't actually tell me what could have been improved. And that's the key thing that I always want to find out. That the 5-star ratings are great social proof for other people or your competitors to see, but knowing what I can actually implement now, that's the main thing that I'm really looking for. So think up a couple of questions, ask your customers, pick up the phone and have a chat with them. Let's look at 10 things you could probably implement right now that would help you up your customer service game to a success position. So first up is a quick response time. Make your responsiveness a key feature of your service. So acknowledge your customer inquiries and the service request promptly, ideally within a few hours. This shows that you value their time and their business. At Linemark, we respond to all of our quotes within 2 hours of receiving the information. 2 hours, that quote is back out the door, super fast. Most people are 2 weeks. Now, we also personalize our service, and I think personalizing your service is actually easy to do. So for example, a lot of our customers work Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, say, in an office. So we then work out of hours at weekends and nights, etc., and we tailor the service accordingly to them. If they're open 24 hours, we use different products that cure faster, and again, we tailor it to them. And I think that's a nice, easy thing that you could implement is that sort of minor tailoring. Next one is transparent communication. This kind of comes back to the phone calls that I was talking about. But with this one, we've got a lot of people asking about different products, about how things work, timelines for installation, any changes, delays, etc. And so we implemented a system that works kind of like a parcel delivery. So our customer gets a message or an email and it says, these are your engineers, they're on their way, you can track them in real time and also communicate with them. And it saves those back and forward emails and phone calls to the office. So tracking systems are great. Next one I would say is the follow-up. And again, I mentioned this briefly before, following up through a phone call, asking a couple of questions, it demonstrates your commitment to quality, but it opens that door for immediate feedback, and it helps for a quick resolution if there are any concerns at any point. I use this as with an email after that one, and I get them to then use the social proof on that, but I would always start with the phone call. Number 5 is the customer education. Now, we educate our customers on materials, products, benefits, etc. And the way we do this is we do a series of videos that go out automatically. So we use MailChimp to send the videos out, But also within the quote itself, we actually have the different products and benefits, etc. A small video embedded within the quote so that they have all the information at hand before they actually make the decision on which product they're going to go with. Next one, I would say number 6 here, loyalty programs and incentives. Now, I don't do this. I've been asked about it before. Customers have said, hey, is there a discount or a referral bonus or something for referring new business to you? I typically haven't done this, but it would be very easy for you to send them a bottle of wine or whatever it may be. I'm never sure which way to go with it, but I personally don't run any sort of referral program at the moment. Maybe we will in the future. Next one I would say is professional development for your team. So investing in certifications and training for your team makes them more proficient in sort of latest techniques and safety and regulations, but a better trained team is more efficient and is more capable of providing a high quality service, which I think in turn impresses your customers. And Richard Branson's famous for saying that he takes care of his staff first and then his staff take care of his customers. And I think, again, that is something that you could easily do. Build that team morale, build your team, and they will look after your customer. So number 8, I think, is to provide a guarantee for your work. Now, we got asked by customers about guarantees, and essentially a guarantee shows confidence in your service and it assures the customer that they are making a risk-free decision when they choose you. Now, we decided that our competitors were offering a 1-year, maybe even a 2-year at some point warranty, and I decided we'd go a step further. We would offer you a lifetime warranty. You can have it for as long as you want. You pay a monthly subscription and that will last forever, ultimately. So we now offer the longest warranty on the planet for line marking, all based on feedback. Number 9, let's talk about accessibility. Your customers need to reach you across various platforms, mobile, phones, emails, social media, websites, whatever it is you have. Make it really, really easy for your customers. You may think that you're easy to get hold of. I certainly did until I outsourced my phone calls, and now I really am the easiest person in the world to get hold of. But I think that you could probably up your game in communication very, very quickly, and you'll find that actually there are other places you could show up for very little cost. And number 10, it isn't something we necessarily do so much, but getting involved in local community activities, sponsoring a local sports club or a team, or participating in a charity event, or even joining a local business group, something that will build goodwill and a positive brand image in your community is another great example that you can add in. And again, these are just a few examples on how you could absolutely dominate customer service, and you should certainly feel confident enough to go out and ask your customers for ideas yourself. These are just a few general ideas. What we've had from sort of feedback from customers saying, we wonder if you could do this, that, or the other. Now, we only got that by asking them. If I just sent them out a Google review form, I would have got, 1 to 5 stars and a small bit of text. So pick up the phone. Don't be afraid of talking to your customers. The absolute worst thing your customer is going to say to you is how you could do it better next time. And that is such a good thing to hear. The reality is sometimes your work's going to be shit. Sometimes they're not going to be happy. Sometimes they're going to give you feedback that you don't agree with, and that's okay. It's better that you listen, and whether you act on it or not, it's another matter. But I would typically only act on it if we've done a shit job or we've cocked something up, because that happens even at Linemark. Trust me, there are things I get wrong. There are things that the guys get wrong. In the office, we get stuff wrong. It happens all the time, but we learn from that. But the thing is, we have to ask our customers and say, hey, what is it that we could do that would make this, an absolutely superior service? Or what can we do that would ensure you come back and shop with us next time and not go elsewhere? What do we have to do to make that a reality? So when I looked at outsourcing my phone handling, I thought, well, I pay my guys to be in the office. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to outsource it. I already pay people to be in the office. They should just pick the phone up. And I was stubborn and I stuck with it. And the more and more I asked people, the more and more they told me, yeah, but actually, you guys are a pain in the ass to get hold of. We ended up shopping with someone else. Sorry, the order's not yours. And I thought, okay, this is costing me potentially tens of thousands of pounds. I'm going to spend instead 10 grand a year. Not even that. I think actually I spend 5 or 6 grand a year. And that whole problem is gone. Not only is that problem gone, every single customer I have now benefits from that solution. So when I look at it, I go, okay, I'm spending 5,000 or 6,000 pounds. That's a bit of a loss. But then I go, oh, actually, massive gain, because every other line marking company, they'll answer their own phones and they're going to miss an awful lot of phone calls. My one is guaranteed to answer. There are literally hundreds of people at a call center based here in the UK, and their job is simply to answer the phone for people like me. And when somebody calls through on my phone number, it pops up with all the information. They answer it as an extension of my company. They have the ability to take messages and notes. They can forward you to me, to one of the sales team, to admin, to an engineer, whatever it may be. They literally have the ability to divert the calls to anyone they need to. But the customer gets that answer guaranteed within 3 seconds. And that's the best thing, I think. The next thing is, we got asked about delivery, what time people are going to arrive. We got back and forward emails and phone calls. Where are they? What time they're getting here? Now we have an app that just shows the customer turn by turn where our staff are, what time they're going to be there. They also have a direct link to communicate with the staff as well. So if there's been a change, if they're saying, oh, park around the back, please give me a phone call when you get here. This is my phone number. All of that goes direct to the engineer. It takes out that layer of communication with the office, makes things so much more streamlined. It's little things like that. Another one was educating people on the products. We used to get loads of questions about different paints, different products. I've heard this, I've heard that. Well, you haven't specified this, that, or the other. We just cleared the whole thing up and said, okay, great. We're gonna film some content. We're gonna embed that into the quotations, and we're gonna let you know exactly what options you have in a short video, sort of 2 minutes, explains all the options you can pick and choose. Really nice and easy. You don't have to keep coming back and forward. In addition, we then had the interactive quotes. I mean, the list goes on. So the quotes, for example, we allow people an almost self-service checkout, so they can add and remove things. They can change quantities. Instead of coming back to me constantly and saying, hey, Alex, I just want to make that 10 parking bays, not 20, and I only want to do this bit and not that bit. It's all self-service. You can take it in and out. And again, nice little video, just explain to the customer, just click this, it adds it in or removes it. It takes out a layer of communication, gives you complete control over your quotation. And it makes that experience so much better. And this isn't even talking about the actual service delivery, the line marking. This is the customer service side, which is ultimately what sells that bit. The actual doing the job, that's just it. That's just the doing part. But we've got to get the sale part and the after sale part, and that is all customer service, and everything we do there is driven by feedback. So a lot of rambling on there, but hopefully you guys get the idea. Get some feedback from your customers, pick up the phone, don't be afraid to call them. And hey, I would recommend checking out The Millionaire Fastlane from MJ DeMarco. I got it on Audible for like £3.50, or the paperback was about £20, I think, on Amazon. Benefit of buying both is that I listen and read at the same time, because otherwise I get so distracted I just can't do it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and I will see you in the next one.